A gravel bed river, in essence, is a system like we're seeing right here, right now, with a lot of granular material in it. And it's a very large system. What you see as the rivers and the tributaries running through it is a very, very small part of a gravel bed river. If you look across here, this is the floodplain. This is all the river. All of it with gravel underneath, with groundwater flowing through it at all times, and then discharging back into the river and creating riffle beds and spawning areas and areas where fish can rest or overwinter because the groundwater is bringing nutrients in and oxygen and all of this. So that is the dynamics of this type of system and the importance of it. It is an asset. It's not just the gravel that you see and the water that you see flowing over. It is a linked system of surface water that you can see flowing here today and groundwater, which is flowing in as base flow. And so, you know, when we get into the low flow seasons, when it hasn't rained much, or we're in the winter time when there is no rainfall or any surface runoff to contribute to that, that's the groundwater that's coming in, that's sustaining the flow of that river. You need to realize about the connectivity of surface water and groundwater in the basin here is that these two entities work together, and development decisions that are made that can influence one can influence the other. When we get into these floodplain areas and we have this type of dynamic system, it does a lot of ecological goods for us, such as dealing with floods, filtering our water, our water for clean drinking water, providing the habitat for fish, providing the habitat for wildlife. So these gravel bed rivers and their flanking riparian systems, as you can see here, are extremely important for that because they can deal with a lot of the challenges that a river can throw at you. These systems can provide what we're calling green infrastructure. If you had to physically filter that water, if you had to build something to deal with the flood, that costs money. If you can take that step back and make room for the river and let the river do what it's designed to do by nature, you will certainly see the value that gives. And in a cash-constrained world that we live in right now, we need to realize that rivers are working for us and that we need to work for them too. When we think about what we do on the landscape and our land management in particular, that can have a significant influence on how water percolates into the subsurface and becomes groundwater, and then eventually surface water, and that through that interaction loop. So when we clear off lands, or if we pave over, you know, the landscape, we can create large runoff events because the water can't go in; it's going to run off quickly. So we can get very quick peaks in our flows in our river, which can be damaging to the river itself, to the river banks, to the riparian areas that are protecting it. And so what we need to do is we need to realize that we have to have these buffers of sufficient size to provide the benefit that they provide to the stream, the protection from those types of events. If we push up too close, or if we actually get into the streams, we're creating problems for the stream, and that can have knock-on effects to the habitat itself. So if we understand that we need to give room for the river, that's an important aspect around our land management planning. I mean, rivers act like the backbone of a watershed. Like a skeleton. It is the backbone. The main stem, like the Red Deer here, is like the spine. All the tributaries are like the bones that connect up to the spine. So it's all connected and it's working together as a system. What we need to do is we need to respect that system. We don't want to compromise it. You know, we don't like to get a store back, right? So, you know, we want to make sure that we're giving the river room to function the way it was supposed to.